live. I just wanted to quickly jump in on this and do this as quickly as possible and hopefully leave this up for whoever might need this in the future. So I've just been speaking to one of my girls regarding goals, and she was asking me sort of how to set her week up. So then I was explaining how I set my week up, and through explaining how I set my week up, I decided to go live in my training group, and then I thought I'd also go live in the financial freedom group. So I'm in both groups. I'm hoping it works because I'm like, if I look blind, it's because I'm going between both groups. But I've not, my phone's rubbish for going live. So I just want to check that you guys can hear me okay. And then I'm going to go through like the easiest, the way I do it. So I think it's easy. The easiest goal setting and the best way to set yourself up for the week. Let me see. Why can't I see the comments? Hi Lauren, can you, right, Lauren in Financial Freedom, can you say if you can hear me okay, and then I'll be able to go. And Kerry in our training group, if you can let me know, that would be great. And then yeah, thanks Kerry. Right, I'm just going to get started. So as I mentioned very quickly a minute ago, it's for Sunday night, right? So it's planning the week ahead. And I know this is one of those things that a lot of people do, especially when they're in the right kind of mindset. But it's one of those things that easily gets kind of forgotten, or easily kind of becomes a bit wishy-washy, especially when it's Sunday, you're tired after the weekend and you start planning ahead. But the thing is, reality is, without really setting your goals and having them pretty like strategic, you're going to find it difficult to measure your progress, see those small wins for yourself. And this is all about self-leadership, right? This is not about other people praising you or patting you on the back or clapping for you. Like, you have to start learning how to do this for yourself. So obviously there are different ways to set goals: monthly, weekly, and daily. I'm not going to focus on monthly goals. I think they're pretty standard, but weekly and daily actions I'm going to quickly run through and just give you guys a bit of food for thought on how to really set your day out. Now, I do mine every Sunday when I'm on it, right? So obviously I'm in massive building mode at the moment. After the meeting we had last week, it'd be impossible not to be, and the event we had in Maidstone, last weekend. See what I mean? I don't even know what day I'm on. So I'm quite sort of pumped and excited again about the business. So it's easy to kind of get into this mindset, but I appreciate that quite often it doesn't feel that way. So this is to help anyone who is feeling a bit slumped, just to help you get a bit of an idea on what to focus on next. So first thing when it comes to weekly goals is you really need to have a goal for the number of sales, number of customers, whatever you want to call it, for the week. Now, I know that we have monthly goals. The reason I say weekly is because when you have a monthly goal, it's easy to, I suppose, get disheartened, especially when you're coming toward the end of the month. You start feeling like you're nowhere near your monthly goal. And then if you're nowhere near it, you start thinking maybe next month. But that's not how life works. Like, your customers aren't going to sit there waiting for you. They're not going to wait till next month to order. When they want something, they want it now. So you have to remember that they're not going to wait. And if anything, you've just warmed them up to go buy from someone else. So weekly goals will not only get rid of that idea, but weekly goals also will help you just stay consistent to the action that you need to build your business for the long-term growth. So first things first, number of sales. There's two ways to look at this. You could just do the standard, I want 10 new customers, or I want 15 new customers. And the whole goal of this is to think big, because I'm going to go through actions in a second. The actions are going to match the goals that you set. There's no point thinking small, because the action's going to be nothing. So think big. And of course it can be, and then what you want to then do as an approximation is times that number by 5 to give you an idea of how many people you need to be networking with this week. The amount of times I've spoken to people and they're like, I want 10 new customers. And I'm like, okay, cool. How many would you sort of speak to every day? They're like, 1. I'm like, well, 1 times 7 ain't 10, mate. So, like, we need to up the ante, otherwise this ain't going to work. So think of that way. So think about whatever your number is, times it by 10, and know your ratio, especially if you're, not even especially if you're new, just know your ratio. Some people, when you're new, you're going to have to speak to more people to get the desired outcome. You might need to speak to 10 people to get one happy yes customer. And then as you get more used to it, more confident, once you start really believing your story and you're confident sharing your story, that could go to 1 in 8, 1 to 5, you never know. But know your ratio and understand that everyone has a ratio, everyone has a sweet spot. And it doesn't really matter what it is, because you can always outwork someone else. Like, this is one of the things I teach to absolutely everyone in my team, is that you can always outwork someone else. You can always speak to more people than someone else. And it's the fastest way to grow and build momentum, is having the most conversations of anyone in your team, right? So know your ratio and know that you can always beat it. But what I want to talk to you guys is maybe to flip that on the head a little bit and think about a monetary goal for this week. So a monetary goal, I like doing monetary goals. I think they're really good fun. And I think it's good fun when you attach it to something and then you give it more meaning. So rather than just having one customer, which one customer might not feel great, especially in this world of comparison, right? But if you attach it to something and you make it one step closer to achieving that. So it could be a holiday, it could be, especially this time of year, we've got a couple of months, it could be like a Lapland trip, it could be some winter sun, it could even be just getting to the events if you've never been able to get to the events before. And that's not a bad goal, that's a smart goal. Like if you think it may be £500 for a good weekend, nice hotel, enough money to get a new outfit, drinks, whatever, that £500 invested into yourself and into your mindset and into the business could turn into a 6-figure business next year. Like going into the events, there's two camps with events. People either think it's a waste of money, a waste of time. Why do I need to go? I think I know everything. And there's the people who are like, I'm never, ever missing an event, because why would I fuck up my future that way? Like, of course I'm going to go. So always know that that's always a good one as well. So I think attaching it to something just makes it more real. So that might be then an incentive for you to put that as a picture on your phone. It might be a picture on your vision board, whatever you guys use. But just attach it to something and know that everything you're doing gets you one step closer to that goal. So looking at monetary goals, I wanted to give you guys an idea and base it on 2 of our products. The first one's the combi shakes and the second one is our premium capsules. Now, as you know, these are our most sold products individually, and I think it works out that every 2 and 3 customers that we have across the UK is actually a package customer. People buy more than one product. So this is just based on those individual products, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm on about monetary goals is this. So if you are brand new, if you are a dealer in our business, just on the shakes combi pack, you're looking at 160 RVC. So every time you get a customer, it's £16. If you're DD, every time you get a customer, it's £22.40. If you're SDD, every time you get a customer, it's £27.20. This is why it's so important to go through the promotions as well. Like, I know there's a bonus, but even if you've been here a while and you've not had the bonus, you've not fast tracked, like just even talking to your upline and asking them to put through your promotion without the bonus, because you've done it cumulatively, you get paid like more than £10 extra just for every single sale that you do, right? It just is smart across the board. So SDD, £27.20, and of course SC and above is 20% of commission, and you're looking at £32. So if you had 10 customers this week who bought the combi pack the shakes, you've made an extra £320 just this week. Now again, you might want to speak to 50 people. You might want to break that down to how many conversations you need a day. But I think rule of thumb, 5 conversations a day, you're pretty much on track to achieve these numbers pretty easily. Plus people who aren't a yes straight away, just become, I suppose with Facebook algorithms and social media algorithms, they're going to start seeing a lot more of your stuff if you're having those interactions online. But they're just going to become a lot more interested. Unless it's a no, then it's a maybe. So that's based on the shakes. I want to talk to you guys to think about the premium capsules. So obviously we're looking at £216 of the commission of the RVC. So if you are brand new and you're a dealer, that's £21.60 every single customer you get. If you're DD, that's £30.20. If you are SDD, that is a £36.70 little pay rise every time you get a customer, and SC and above is £43.20. I think I got that right. Yeah. So 43.20. So if you imagine again, 10 customers this week on premium capsules, you look at an extra £430 just this week. Now, this is what I wanted to break this down to you. I know some people go, well, I've never had that in a month, but you've also never put the action in. So if you haven't got that result in a month, maybe, but you haven't put the action in, like, why would you not fast track yourself to try and achieve that this week? It's possible. It's just speaking to more people. If you've only spoke to 20 people last month, you can speak to 20 people this week, right? It's just more action. The more action you put in, the better and bigger the results are going to be that you get out of it at the end. And I think as well, it's worth saying that when it comes to comfort zones, people do like to play small, but if you play small, you're going to get small results. Like if you look at anyone who's on stage at our conferences, any of the NMDs, anyone who's been in our business for quite a while, when you meet them, and like social media tells you half a story, when you meet them, the one thing that you will notice is that these people never play small. Like they play to win. They don't play to not lose, and that's a massive difference. Some people play to not lose, and they just do enough to get by. They just do enough to pay whatever it is they want to pay monthly, right? They just do enough to get a pat on the back. They just do enough to get a bit of recognition. Why would you waste your energy just doing enough when just that extra bit more can give you so much more back, right? So I want you guys to think about that moving into the new week. Think about your goals and write them down. And then I've got loads of, I wrote this all down. I was trying to be really professional. So obviously that's good for your goals for your sales for the week. Your building goals are going to be quite similar. I do my building goals a slightly different way because obviously I feel like it is a slightly longer process. People buy products all the time. People are always buying things, especially when it comes to transformations and wanting an outcome and wanting a result that they can physically see. People buy into that all the time. It's not a difficult sell in comparison to maybe our business. Even though our business is actually, I obviously think it's a much bigger opportunity for people, that opportunity is quite scary, and it can take a long time for someone to really buy into what we're doing and actually see the longevity in it, the credibility in our company, especially when there's so many crappy distributors. Massive offense to crappy distributors. When there's crappy distributors that make our products and company look crap, it takes a while to build that credibility back up, right? So when it comes to the building goal for your week, I wouldn't really worry too much about the outcome yet. I don't worry too much about how many yeses you're going to get. Just know that the more conversations you have, the more relationships that you start building, the yeses will come. But I really focus this on just building relationships and really focusing on getting to know that person and what they're about and what their goals are, what their aspirations are. And then through getting to know someone else, you'll be able to help kind of direct them into whether it's a good fit for our business. And a really good way of doing that, by the way, as a side note, as I'm thinking, is once you know their story, it's really easy to identify who would be a great match for them. So obviously when you have a team and you're part of a team, even if you might not have a massive team of your own, but you're still part of a massive team, right? We're all in this together. When you're part of a team, you hear so many different stories, and that if you're speaking to a potential team member and they have a story that resonates very similar to someone else's, you can kind of introduce them to that story. Use the power of someone else's story to build the credibility up. We do this all the time. I don't think we talk about this enough. But when it's done, I think it's better done privately. I think it's better done with an introduction to the person in the story. And I think, this would really resonate with you. I thought when you said XYZ, it made me think of this person in the business, and then share something that way. It just seems way more personable than just spamming a video on your Facebook, right? We have to think about what this actually looks like to the person watching it back. And always know that every time you're having a conversation with someone, every time you are building up that relationship, you need to add them to a physical list. I have notebooks all over my house with lists on them, because you have to keep track. There's no point hoping that someone's going to pop back into an inbox one day when they might not, to be honest. If you're one of many distributors on their Facebook, they might not remember your name. So it's worth you keeping a track of some of these names so that you can kind of keep on top of it. You're building your business in your life. Don't leave this in the hands of someone else to get back in touch with you when all it is a simple follow-up. And I think as well as it shows kind of who you are. Integrity, I think it shows your leadership. I think it shows your passion. I think it shows exactly the sort of mentor that you're going to be for this person. And that speaks volumes to people, especially nowadays. There are quite a few companies. There are people promising the world on social media. People don't just want to join a business. They want to join a movement. They want to join real people. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And they want to know what they're going to get from you. You have to show up the way that you would want someone to show up for you, right? We all have the dream of what a dream leader would be. If you think about it, write it down, become it. That's your opportunity to grow into that person. So that's why list building is really, really important, because it shows that yourself is committed. And I think as well as list building shows yourself as committed, I wrote down events. I've mentioned already, we've got the Sussex event next month. I know Sophia's posted a few times about that in here. That's going to be massive. It's in Brighton. It's going to be fun. It's going to be gorgeous. Just as a photo opportunity, it's going to be gorgeous. But the people speaking are amazing, and she's put so much effort into it. And if you have the opportunity to get to that event, you won't miss it. It's going to take me 6 hours to get down there, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. And it's understanding that you're not just going to an event, you're building the possibilities of your future. And of course, we've got the big company event in Edinburgh this November, which again, I think for anyone who's looking at building a sustainable business, it's kind of a non-negotiable. Like I've never met anyone who's made a good income from our business who's never gone to events. If you exist, holler. Like, I don't know who you are. I've never met you. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And finally, I wrote plan to win. So I wrote I do this thing. I'm going to show you actually, because my writing's crap, but you'll see at the bottom, this little quadrant. So I do this quadrant as well in my notebook every single week. The first one's sales. But we've gone through sales already, like my sales target for the week, and then I break it down into points of what to do. The second one is personal development, which is books, podcasts, whatever it is that you're into. And then I wrote network inside and outside the team. So the bottom one's network inside the team, outside the team. What I like to do with this is I pick someone in my business who is I just pick someone in my business. It could be someone who is showing a lot of enthusiasm but maybe hasn't quite figured something out. It could be a leader, an emerging leader. It could be someone brand new. And I want to get to know them. I want to get to know their goals. I want to get to know what makes them tick. I want to know everything about them, because that's going to help me help them grow in our business, right? And then outside of the team is knowing that you're part of something bigger than just you. So why would you not utilize that? Like, you can learn from absolutely everyone in our business, everyone in this industry, regardless of their position or how long they've been here. Everyone's got some value to add in. And then that's when I like to network with my sidelines or go to events, because I think that's the best way to just immerse yourself into this, right? But on the personal development one, I wanted to share with you guys some books. Some of you will have seen, and some are a bit out there in terms of what we're talking about, but I think they would be very, very useful anyway. So there's loads of network marketing books. There's GoPro, there's a few others. This one's a pretty good one. It's The Miracle Morning, but for network marketers. The Miracle Morning is really good as well. This is good, but they kind of talk a bit of shit, but you have to take it with a pinch of salt, I think. I think a lot of these leaders in these businesses, there's stories from all different leaders of different companies. I think a lot of them do blow quite a lot of smoke up their own asses, like some of the things that they say that they do. But it's really good in terms of mindset and just ideas of, like, obviously how to get yourself started in the morning to win. That's a really good one. I prefer the original Miracle Morning though to that, to be honest. Obviously got the 4-year career. So I was actually gifted these by Richard Bliss-Brooke, because I spoke on his podcast. So you've got the 4-year career, and then you've got the 4-year career for women, which was written by his wife. Again, not massive books. Good value though. Value for pages. Good value, but not massive books. If someone's not a particular big reader, it's just a really good habit to get yourself into. I've got loads of books. I just picked up a few ones in terms of different theories. How to be a leader. These books are brilliant. So the School of Life books are fantastic, and they've loads of, again, not massive, quite an easy read, but food for thought, and it's just really good to get yourself into that mindset. Fanatical Prospecting, which is really good for building your team and building the momentum around building your team, rather than just hoping that people are going to come to you wanting to join your business. I mean, you can hit and hope, it's just going to be really long and painful. Like, why would you not actually build with intention? And then I picked up 2 other books that are out there in terms of this, but I think actually necessary. So when I go to events and when I speak to people, my networking outside the team, a lot of the same things keep coming up with what holds people back, and it's usually personal life stuff, and it's usually drama from personal life where things can be quite easily fixed. Like, it takes, I say easily fixed, things can be eased, and it can become a lot easier. So one of the books that I really love is called The Inner Fix by Persia Lawson, and this is a relationships book, especially great for anyone who's single and wants to set better boundaries and not be taken the piss out of. Really, really good book. But really, because sometimes these are the things that mess us up, right? Especially women. And this one I've only read a bit of, but I've read another book, one of her books, I think it's called Letting Go by Byron Katie, and this is more of like a life. Like, if your life feels like cluttered or overwhelming, that's a very good book. Those last 2 books are obviously nothing to do with network marketing, but they're a lot to do with personal development. And I think when you build yourself, you build your business. Like, there is no real separation between you and your business and your leadership when it all comes down to you, your confidence, etc., you inside. So loads of good books. Just try looking at different books. Like, you'll surprise yourself how much you can grow. And also, what's really holding you back, and sometimes it's not what you think it is. So on that note, that's how I set up my weekly goals, and then the only thing to add for that is how to break these down for the day. And once you have your goals, what I would recommend doing is not obsess about the goal itself, which sounds ridiculous probably, but if you obsess about the goal, then you're gonna get yourself stuck before you get started. What I would recommend doing is, once you have a few of your goals written down, is break your goals down to 3 to 5 actions per goal and obsess about the actions. Like, it's going to be a lot easier obsessing about the actions than the goal itself. So for example, your goal was 10 sales, you now need to speak to 50 people, so your goal is to get 50 people on your list. That might be that might then include the daily stuff that we do, like the Facebook Lives, the posts, etc. But it's all about starting the conversation. Everything, 95% of your business, if not more, I think actually, pretty much your whole business is going to be built in your inbox and through phone calls and through meeting people, because that's just how this business works. I think it looks like it's different, but it's not. There was a time, maybe 3 years ago, where my Facebook got completely blocked for just over a year, where I couldn't even post a photograph. This was before video, that's how bloody long ago it was, but this was my year that I was going for Millionaire Club, right? I couldn't even post a photo. I had a whole year of my Facebook with 0 photos, just statuses, because everything was in my inbox. And that was my biggest company year, my biggest personal year, because I couldn't rely on like the pretty pictures. And I think for me, that's been a big lesson, because I would not have realised that until I actually went through that. I always thought that it was all about the posts and all about the likes and all about the engagement. It isn't. 9 times out of 10, people won't even like or comment. They'll just stalk you. So you might as well start building conversations in your inbox, because that's really where your business is at anyway. So once you've got your goals, break them down to 3 to 5 actions, obsess over those, and of course work out what's going to keep you strong every single day, right? So you've got keeping yourself strong. Things that I do that I recommend massively is starting strong. If you can give yourself half an hour to an hour in the morning, if you've got children, to wake up before them, just do it as a gift to yourself. It's called peace of mind, right? And just do that. I love journaling. I know people find it quite difficult to do it, but I love journaling. I've done it forever, since I was a teenager. I don't even know how or when it started, but I love journaling. What I do is I write down my goals, and it looks ridiculous if you look back at some of my notebooks. It's just repeat the same stuff again, but I think it's just affirming kind of what I want. So I write down my goals, I write down my beliefs, anything that kind of comes up, I write it down. Anything that's bothering me, I write it down. And once you kind of write it down, it feels great. You just kind of get rid of it. It's like a brain poo. You just get rid of it. It's just there and it's gone. The other things I do every morning, that I've started doing celery juice. This is a new thing though, but it is quite nice, and I make it with apples, and it's quite nice. Celery in its own is rank, but celery juice with apples is quite nice. It's very good for your digestion. Water first thing in the morning, obviously with capsules, and writing down your goals, whether it's a journal or not, just writing down your goals is just smart. And if you need to, before you do anything, the biggest thing I went to Tony Robbins a few years ago, and one of the biggest tips I got from the UPW was about priming and getting yourself in a good mindset. So I will not do anything in my business until I'm in a really good mood. Like, why would I kill my business by turning up in a bad mood? Like, why would I stopped doing lives in my Facebook group, in my team group, because I was going through something quite personal and quite painful, so I wasn't going to show up as myself, so I stopped doing it for a little bit, right? I had to fix that part of me first, and it's just really, really important. So if you imagine, priming yourself is just getting yourself into a really good mental state to start your day. And I think the best way to do this, honestly, is music. So you have journaling, your brain poo in the morning, then you do your music, then you get yourself into a good mindset. And that's the best time. You guys like the brain poo? You guys are sick. That's the best time to get yourself ready for the day. Like, that's the best way to get yourself ready. And then once you're in a really good mindset, everything becomes easier, because it's fresh. You know what your goals are. You're ready. You know, you've started yourself with integrity. You've started with your products. You're ready to smash the day out. And those are my tips for a really, really good week. So to recap, in fact, what I'm going to do, if you guys don't mind, is if you can comment what your biggest takeaway of this was so far, just so we can see the variation, that would be fantastic. But to recap, as you guys do that, it is focus on having a number of sales for the week. Whatever your monthly number is for the month, put it for this week, coming week. And I promise you, if you put whatever your goal was for the month just for this week, you will surprise yourself, because that is where the big action comes in. With a big goal, you start turning up differently. And once you start turning up differently, everything else starts pulling itself together. Plus as well, you have to think externally, people looking in. Once you start showing up with determination, like you really mean it, people start believing in you more. Like that's a whole different level of playing this game, right? So start with your sales goal for the week. Make sure that you are adding some personal development. Don't get stuck in the personal development cycle though, where that's all you then do is just you spend all day long reading or listening to podcasts to make yourself busy. Busy and productive are not the same thing. So get yourself in a good mindset and then get yourself into action. Obviously network inside the team, outside the team. That's just a really good overall to keep you in. Especially with events. If you can find an event, get to an event, meet someone new, whether they're in the business or not. Like, it's just part of the process, and it makes it a lot easier to feel like you're part of something when you actually are. And of course, whatever goals you have, break them down 3 to 5 actions and obsess on those actions, not on the goal itself. So that is my top tips for a smashing week for you guys. Let me know how you get on. Feel free to add posts inside this group. This group is for everyone. So if something's happening for you this week and you want to give yourself a mini shout out, don't wait for someone else to celebrate you. That's the whole point of the group. Those are my tips. I hope they help you. I hope you have a wicked week, and if I have any smart ideas, I'll come back and I'll do them as well. Apart from that, have a wicked night, and I'll see you guys probably at the next event. See you later. Bye.